Elon Musk is very unhappy with the new Epstein-JP Morgan lawsuit subpoena coming his way. He's one of a number of billionaires on a list of witnesses that the U.S. government of the Virgin Islands wants to talk to. But Elon says he's got nothing to do with JP Morgan or Epstein. We're going to look at Musk's response to all of this. But first, let's take a look at the filing from the government of the Virgin Islands. Here's what they sent in. Filed this one May 15, 2023. It's 4 pages. It is the government of the United States for the Virgin Islands. And remember that they are suing JP Morgan Chase. This all involves Jeffrey Epstein. And they're alleging that billionaires were using JP Morgan Chase Bank to do business deals and to move money around, and that Jeffrey Epstein was facilitating the transactions. He was introducing people. He was making the connections, saying, this is how I do my stuff. Why don't you do your stuff this way? So the Virgin Islands is getting closer and closer to trial. They're saying that JP Morgan is highly involved in basically being the bag man for Jeffrey Epstein. And they want to talk to these people. So the government of the United States for the Virgin Islands is now seeking alternative service for Elon Musk. And this happens after they can't physically track somebody down. They'll make different attempts. They even do this in Arizona for photo radar tickets. They'll try to serve you with your ticket. If they can't find you, they'll get permission from the judge to go tape it to your garage. The Scottsdale judges do that. They tape it to your garage. That's alternative service. Same type of thing happening here. Elon Musk is very busy. He's all over the place doing various things. They can't get him physically served by a process server with the subpoena. So the government is saying, here we come now asking for an order authorizing the government to arrange alternative service of its subpoena to produce documents on Elon Musk. And we know that the Google co-founder Larry Page also got something like this. They couldn't find him either. As grounds for this motion, the government states the following. The government brought this civil action against Chase Bank as part of its effort to protect public safety and hold those accountable who facilitated or helped the trafficking enterprise of one Jeffrey Epstein. The government's investigation has revealed that JP Morgan knowingly, recklessly, and unlawfully provided and pulled the levers through which Epstein's recruiters, victims, were paid and was indispensable to the operation and the concealment of the Epstein trafficking enterprise, saying that financial institutions like Chase Bank can connect or choke human trafficking networks. If you need to spend a bunch of money to move people around and you need a bank to do it, one thing that can stop that is the bank. And enforcement actions and injunctive relief that are often obtained by attorneys and attorneys general are essential to ensure that enterprises like Epstein's cannot flourish into the future. The government's investigation further revealed that Chase Bank JP Morgan financially profited from the deposits made by Epstein and Epstein-controlled entities in the Virgin Islands. They had that money and they got to invest it and make profits just like banks do. And from the business opportunities referred to JP Morgan by Epstein. Epstein was apparently referring a bunch of people over to the bank, said, I use them, you should too. And his co-conspirators, in exchange for its known facilitation and its implicit participation in Epstein's trafficking venture. So remember, we've got a long history with Epstein. He was convicted at one point in time. And the question was, why were the banks still doing business with a man convicted of trafficking and being involved with minors? And there were emails and other conversations that apparently involved high-ranking members of Chase JP Morgan who knew that this was problematic, but Epstein had so much money and power that he was a VIP. They didn't want to hold him to the same standards of the law. So the government says, upon information and belief, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, among other companies, is a high net worth individual who Epstein may have referred or attempted to refer to JP Morgan. The government issued a subpoena for the documents to Mr. Musk on April 28th. We have the exhibits. We'll take a look at those. The government made good faith attempts to obtain an address for Mr. Musk. They hired an investigative law firm to do a database search. Linda Singer is the person who was brought in to do that. One address was found for Mr. Musk's counsel, who has waived service on Mr. Musk's behalf in several recent federal cases filed within the last year. So Elon, as you can imagine, getting sued all the time. And generally, his lawyer just says, okay, we'll just accept that. Just come take it to my office. You don't need to go serve him at his house. I'm his lawyer. We'll take that on behalf of Mr. Musk. So the government of the Virgin Islands thought, well, we'll just do that same thing. We'll contact him. hey, will you accept service? So they contacted his counsel via email saying, hey, would you accept service on Musk's behalf in this matter? But guess what? No response, either confirming or denying the authority. Let that one ride. In addition, the government's process server attempted service at the business address for Tesla. They showed up there. Is Elon here today? Identified by the investigative firm, but was unable to confirm whether or not Mr. Musk was at a location and available for service, and was directed by security to contact a registered agent. So Elon Musk security team, who are you here for? For Elon with court paperwork? He's not available. Well, he's probably here. I don't care. Get out of here. This court has long recognized that Rule 45 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure permits alternative service of a subpoena by certified mail when we can't do it in person, referencing the law. The court has permitted alternative service where a party's repeated attempts at personal service have failed, and when we're close to approaching discovery. Both circumstances are present here. The government has made good faith efforts to obtain an address for Musk and to serve him personally. Moreover, we're getting close to the end of discovery at the end of the month. And so in these circumstances, the court should, in the interest of securing just and expeditious resolution, authorize the government to arrange alternative service of its subpoena requiring Mr. Musk, and by serving him upon Tesla's registered agent. So we just want to give it over to Tesla, not the other lawyer, just Tesla's registered agent. As soon as it lands there on their desk, the service is effectuated. The subpoena becomes valid. It now has the full force and the weight of the court. Signed by Ariel Smith, Attorney General nominee, and by counsel Linda Singer. Also signed by Venetia Velasquez. And I expect this is likely to be granted. Remember, we had a very similar motion with the co-founder of Google, Larry Page, and the judge said, so ordered. He wrote it very quickly. This one was just submitted, but judge said, so ordered, boom, and just submitted it, which means all they needed to do for Larry Page was just comply with the alternative service, and the subpoena was effective. Same thing likely to happen here with Elon. Now, there were some other documents that were submitted as part of the motion. This is the subpoena that Elon Musk received, or will receive. Elon Musk is here. The name of the person says you are commanded to appear at the following date and time. Obviously, this will be refreshed because that date has expired, and signed by Linda Singer. There was no proof of service in the document because he obviously was not served. But here are the items that they want. They're defining all of the different terms for Elon and his lawyers, and these are the questions that they have. Very similar production requirements that Larry Page got. The request includes all communications between Elon and JP about Epstein, all communications about accounts, transactions, or relationships with JP Morgan and Epstein Bank, any documents and all documents about meetings with Epstein's, any fees that Elon paid to Epstein, and all documents about Epstein's involvement in human trafficking or his procurement of people for bad things. And so this is the request for production, the subpoena, likely to be effectuated via alternative service. Here's the declaration from Linda Singer, the person who tried to serve Elon. It says, I'm Linda Singer. I am representing the government from the Virgin Islands. I'm an attorney with Motley Rice. We were hired to search database records for Musk. We found the attorney who waived service but didn't in this case. I emailed Mr. Musk's lawyer to notify him of this government subpoena. While he did respond to my initial email, he did not respond to a subsequent email or confirm or deny his authority to accept service. In addition, Motley's process server attempted service at Tesla but couldn't find him. Ryan Shedler tried to get that done. So Linda says, Your Honor, we've tried very hard to go get him, and so we can't, so we need your permission. Here is the declaration from Ryan Shedler. Says, I got a summons for Elon Musk. I got it on May 5th. I went to go serve it. I could not personally serve it, so couldn't check that box. I couldn't leave it at the residence with somebody of suitable age and discretion, which would be valid, at his residence. I served a summons by someone who's designated to accept service. No, couldn't get that one either. So then he says, I returned unexecuted. Tried to get him at 1 Tesla Road in Austin, Texas, but couldn't get him. Checks that box. Submitted as the affidavit. Additional information, he says, I also spoke with an individual who identified themselves as the head head of security on duty at Tesla. This individual stated that they were not authorized to confirm or deny if Elon was on the premises. When asked to be put in contact with the corporate legal liaison or a member of the legal facilities I was referred to CT Corps, Tesla registered agent, legal@tesla.com. I informed the head of security that the subpoena is not for Tesla, but an executive, and requested to be put in contact with an executive liaison in order to relay notice of service. I was again referred to Tesla's legal address. The head of security on duty informed me they would not be escalating to anyone able to assist with the matter. So security's, no, I know what you're asking for. Yes, I know why you're here. No, we are not helping you. Thanks. So he makes note of it, sends that into the court, and very likely to see the judge respond and authorize it. Now, Elon is responding to this. Unusual Whales posted this on Twitter, and Elon responded to it, says, "This is idiotic on so many levels. That cretin, Epstein, never advised me on anything whatsoever. The notion that I would need or listen to financial advice from a dumb crook is absurd. And JP Morgan let Tesla down 10 years ago. Despite having Tesla's global commercial banking business, which we then withdrew, I have never forgiven them." So Elon Musk, right out of the gates with a response on this, which I think is appropriate. Other billionaires have gone missing. We don't know what Larry Page, the Google co-founder, says about any of this, but Elon Musk responds immediately. This is ridiculous. Don't know him, never took financial advice for him, and JP Morgan's pretty much crap. So Elon is likely going to testify in this if the subpoena is upheld, and I have no reason to doubt that it will be. But I agree with him that the government trying to, unless there's more evidence here, but the government trying to drag everybody into this, unless they've got some good evidence that shows there was some transactions or connections, it may just be trying to drag somebody into the mud. Elon's responding to it. Certainly more will be revealed. But we have another reaction. This comes from JP Morgan CEO, Jamie Dimon. He responded to Bloomberg, said he's just so sad about his bank's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. This is ahead of his deposition. And he's the person who actually ran the bank, was actually enabling Epstein to move money around. Here's what he said.
But it's very unfortunate. I am so sad that we had any relation to that man whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, we had top lawyers evaluating this from the SEC enforcement, the DOJ, you know, and obviously had we known then what we know today, we would have done things differently, but it's very unfortunate. And I have deep respect for these women. That doesn't mean we're liable for the action of an individual, but I do have deep respect for them. My heart goes out to them. And I am so sad that we had any relation to that man whatsoever.
Well, we've seen a lot of the emails, and we know that they knew that there were some very problematic things happening with Epstein, but they continued to be the bag man regardless. They kept doing business for him and facilitating a lot of his nefarious activities. Now they're so sad. Sad that they got caught.